in and become your reality that day. But Aleve is here to help you keep moving. One pill gives you up to 12 hours of body pain relief. So don't let pain hold you back. Try Aleve today. Use as directed.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Let me take it back. Told you give me a minute and I'll be right back. Said that I couldn't get it. I done got so sick and filthy with binges I can't spin it. You gon' be talking like I just gotta get it. I'm the number one diva in this game for a minute. For the one that they call it 20. Every radio channel I know because that's where I be. Na diva. My hood up, baby, better have a six pack in the cooler. Getting money, you getting money. If you ain't getting money, then you ain't got nothing for me. Tell me something. Where your boss at? Ladies up in here and lick the top and back. Reach out, what you say? He ain't no tea.
Yet another arrest has been made in connection to the Nolan Wells case out of Mississippi. An Illinois man is reportedly the latest person to face a federal charge of threatening to injure and kill witnesses and their families in connection to the ongoing investigation of Nolan Wells' death. The latest person to be arrested was Edward James Porter, and he is reportedly from Berwyn, Illinois. He has been charged in a federal criminal complaint with transmitting a threatening communication in interstate commerce to kill or injure two witnesses in the ongoing state investigation into Nolan's death. Edward was also reportedly tracked to a second address in nearby Maywood, Illinois. It was said those two cities in Illinois are within a 5-mile radius of each other. According to reports, Edward made threats to Bart Edmiston Jr. and his family through both phone calls and text messages. That was on this past Friday. Bart was one of Nolan's good friends. Bart was with Nolan on the day that he went missing. They were out on the water together on July 4th on Horn Island. The criminal complaint said that Edward told one witness he was going to come kill that witness and their family. He then claimed he knew where they lived and that he had their home address, and sent the witness a text containing the witness's address to prove he knew their address. Furthermore, Edward allegedly called a second witness in the investigation, and he threatened to kill and injure that witness. It was said he threatened to kill this witness and then cut up his body and stuff their remains in a suitcase. Unbelievable. According to reports, authorities subpoenaed records from the company called Boost Motor and identified both the phone number and IP address that was used to make these threatening calls and to send these threatening text messages. As you know, a California man and an Ohio woman have also been arrested for threatening people in regards to Nolan's investigation. And I have a feeling there's going to be way, way more. This is truly getting out of hand. Lock all the idiots up making these threats. It amazes me they think they can't or won't get caught. For more updates into this case.
And we are back. The time is 9:15. We're up live on Facebook. Be sure to like the WVON page. Interact with me. I'll talk back with you. It's a thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. And be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check me out there at the Cleopatra Show. And be sure to keep up with me exclusively across all social media platforms at Follow Cleopatra. You know, the Nolan Wells case is growing legs. And I've tried to be rooted in a discipline to be very methodical of how and what we report on because of it. The bottom is definitely falling out. And for those of us that are in class via our platform here at Facebook, you all see that every day I put together an understanding of what the curriculum, if you will, between the 3 hours that I command the mic will be consisting of. And I definitely plan to discuss the value of Michigan as a state and the state of America. So put a pin in that. But at the 9:30 slot, I'm going to talk about a black mother who's being harassed, threatened, employment disruption, while the person of interest or interests, plural, are in custody, and the potential cover up the death of her son of Nolan Wells. And we're going to tap our friend that has exclusively been reporting on this in Mississippi. But as the details continue to pour out, Black Twitter, Black social media is not playing, but neither is white social media. That was a Caucasian woman that was sharing some of the details of the third person that is behind bars for hailing threats, familiar to Berwyn, roots from Maywood, right here in Illinois. FAFO. F around and find out. Bottom line is, this is not a game. An 18-year-old young man, life was cut down. Absolutely cut down. He went on a boating expedition, allegedly with friends, never to return alive. He was unalived. I'll never forget when I kept using that term around Melody, our CEO. She said, "What the hell does that mean?" That means when you went, you were alive, and now you are unalive. Okay? That term is trending. So just to give you all some fodder for your vocabulary from your favorite millennial, incorporated. You went somewhere and then you came back, and you are no longer breathing and walking and talking this earth. You are unalived. So we're going to exclusively dive into Nolan Wells as this case is growing. I mean, they are harassing his mother at work. They are questioning her nursing license. I mean, just the evil and wickedness of this country. All because you took her son. And she just didn't take it quietly. And we've seen this happen before. I had the privilege to attend the 85th commemoration of Emmett Till's, what would have been his birthday. And we know how his life was cut down, but his mother didn't take it quietly either. We must protect the Wells family. They're the victims. If we know nothing else, if you have just a slither of humanity in your heart, in your makeup, they're the victims. It is her son that is 6 feet deep, not nobody else's. And the fact that we are, and I say we as a country, trolling the audio engineer who unearthed the tape of desperation once they unalived this boy. The fact that we are trolling the parents and its cruelty. The fact that we will go above and beyond. But who is the we? It is a certain caliber of America that continues to perpetuate this sick behavior. And the contagion is real. We must wrap our arms around not only the Wells family, but there were 2 other families, Black families impacted, ironically, whose sons were 18, cut down in the company of white counterparts that they thought were friends. Those are facts. When we come back, I want to get your take on this. 773-591-1690. Now, we know the good bros. Our Black Attorney General, Ben Crump, is on the case. But is it enough He needs support too. We got Reverend Al Sharpton, our colleague and friend of WVON. He's on the case too. Is that enough? Every black family under the sound of my voice, we 2 shakes away from being victimized every day we leave our homes while surviving while being black in America. That is an absolute fact. More when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Summer is here, the season of sunshine, swimming, picnics, and the freedom to have fun and enjoy yourself. United Fidelity Bank believes freedom starts with smart savings. Whether you're hanging with friends and family or enjoying a summer night, your money should still be working for you. Open a United Fidelity Bank 18-month certificate of deposit with a 4.25% annual percentage yield. It's a simple, steady way to grow your savings, letting your money work for you. At United Fidelity Bank, they focus on you, your needs, your goals, your questions. Their personal service is something you will not find at a big box bank. Get the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by their Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street to open your 18-month 4.25% APY CD today, or visit UnitedFidelity.com. United Fidelity Bank, where your summer of smart savings begins. Rates subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically at the standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
Your family's health and our community's health comes first. That's why UChicago Medicine brings you the Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m. No matter the health topic, you'll get clear facts, real and doable advice from UChicago Medicine doctors, experts, and community leaders. So you, your family, and community can make smarter choices and live healthier. Hear us at WVON.com or WVON at iHeartRadio. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of UChicago Medicine at the forefront.
Chicago, get ready for a night of pure magic. On Saturday, August 29th, the Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined Tribute lights up the historic Congress Theater. One unforgettable night celebrating the songs that defined a generation. Imagine Survivor, Say My Name, Independent Woman, Reimagined. A 5-piece string ensemble delivers a stunning symphonic interpretation of the hits and love songs you know by heart, blending contemporary sounds with the group's signature harmonies and those empowering lyrics that still move us today. And guiding you through it all, narrator Matthew Knowles, the management powerhouse who built Destiny's Child from Houston Dream to global phenomenon. Want the ultimate experience? Upgrade to VIP for premium seating and an exclusive meet and greet. But hurry, VIP packages are limited. From the moment the doors open, you'll feel it. It isn't just a concert, it's a celebration. The Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined Tribute, August 29th, Congress Theater. Tickets at destinyschild.com. Get yours before they're gone.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Still no big changes in your travel time. Still tracking that accident along Tuskegee Airmen Memorial on the outbound side near CalSag. We're looking at the center lane remains blocked right now. Traffic is stop and go all the way to 111th Street. Taking a look at our weather, cloudy and mild today. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a daytime high of around 79. Tonight, temperatures will level off at around 68. It's 73 at Midway, 73 in Auburn Gresham, and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 9:26. And we've been tossing around the term unalive. Show you how smart the class is. I have the most astute listening audience in the world. Andrea was saying to us, unalived has become a part of the vernacular as a direct result of social media. TikTok and other platforms block users from using the term dead because they flag it. Taught me something. When I heard it, I was just feeling the whole vibe. Because I usually will say when folks, and maybe this is a Chicago thing, I'm dead serious, right? And I'd be like, well, if you dead, it's serious. All right, that's the most oxymoronic statement one can make. And I've been saying that probably more than 20 years. So when I heard unalive, I said, oh, I'm feeling that. But to Andrea's point, I had no idea it erupted because one had to get creative in order to discuss with free speech what the situation may or may not be. Very interesting. Listen, guys, we're talking about Nolan Wells and the three suspects, and it is on every major news circuit as we speak, that are in custody, many of whom have been hurling threats, very graphic ones too, at witnesses and etc. I mean, just the cabal, the audacity in America. You know, I've shared my frustration when we love to talk about black on black crime. And historically, when crime is committed, it is more hyper intensified amongst one's race. But historically, when it comes to black Americans, we've been hunted and cut down and mowed down by any other race. It is the Caucasian race, and that is an absolute fact. So here it is, three young boys, three young men, 18. They're not men yet. They were embarking upon manhood. Were cut down in the company of white folk. That's just a fact, right? And here it is in America. They are literally victimizing the victim's family. Make it make sense. But the cruelty of it all is insane. But as we dive into the next subject specifically about Nolan's mother, I want us to just take a moment, and if you don't have compassion, borrow it. Let's talk to Brother Randy. Brother Randy, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Yes, good morning to you. I appreciate you raising this issue, Cleopatra. I've been kind of watching this closely, and I want to be real quick out of respect for other callers who have comments and questions too. I want to say, quickly that I've been, if you go to Don Lemon's YouTube station, as well as also to Joy Reid's station, where they've been covering this closely, there have been some suspicious things in terms of even tapes, recordings and stuff. And also, you're right, threats not only against Nolan Wells' mother, but also attacks on Ben Crump. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that was questioned, one of the white guys that was around Nolan Wells, he threatened Ben Crump, Attorney Ben Crump. So I also want to let you know, inform you all that I called a Mississippi Legislative Black Caucus to request that they declare a state of emergency in Mississippi and to investigate, have the governor investigate the mysterious death of black youth in Mississippi, all the state of Mississippi. And I also called the Congressional Black Caucus in Washington to inform them to have convened special hearings and to use their committees and resources to investigate these mysterious deaths of black youth, in not only Mississippi, also northern Texas and stuff. So we have to be extremely careful. So I just want to kind of engage you for a minute. So what do you, and I have much respect to Nolan Wells' family, his mother, who has been trying to keep it all together, as well as his father. I think they're doing a great job, and they also have issued warrants and stuff they also issued warrants, and they filed a lawsuit to make sure that these white kids, these white boys who I think played a role in his death, in Nolan Wells' death, do not destroy the evidence, right? To try to get rid of what was on their cell phones, et cetera. So I think it's important that people pay attention to this. I think that this is in the line of to me, it seems like these young people also need to be asked about their connection to white supremacist organizations and to their family members connected to white supremacist organizations.
It needs to be an entire investigation.
Absolutely.
Let me be clear.
Absolutely.
The Black Attorney General has already spoken. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If the shoe was on the other foot and there was a Caucasian 18-year-old in the company of 3 Black 18-year-olds, he wouldn't even have been able to leave the vicinity, let alone be behind bars until he was before a grand jury and fighting for his life behind bars like everybody else until he can face his day in court. But is that everybody else only Black Americans? We'll be back after this break.
Cloudy and mild temperatures climbing near 80. Good morning. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says a professional misconduct investigation was opened into the mother of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. According to Crump, the Mississippi Board of Nursing launched the review after receiving an anonymous complaint about Christine Wells Wansley, calling in an attempt to intimidate a grieving mother. Wansley said Wednesday that the board has now closed the investigation. Her son disappeared from Horn Island on July 4th and was found dead 2 days later. The circumstances surrounding Wells' death remain under investigation. Meanwhile, a third person has been charged in connection with ongoing investigation. Edward James Porter is accused of making threats to 2 witnesses. Court documents say Porter made multiple calls to the victims, threatening to kill them and their families. 2 other suspects, Joseph Alfonso Vasquez and Michelle Francine Edwards, were previously charged for making bomb threats. Well, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulis is running for mayor of Chicago. In a WVON exclusive this morning, he tells Rufus Williams why.
People don't expect perfection. They don't expect their city hall to be perfect, but they do expect competence. They expect honesty. They expect someone who treats every tax dollar like it's their own and every resident's time as if it matters. And that's exactly what I did as Secretary of State. And that's exactly how I'll govern as mayor if I'm fortunate enough to get elected.
Giannoulis is in a crowded field with a massive war chest of more than $22 million and has name recognition that makes him an instant frontrunner. Rufus did a rapid-fire session.
Brandon Johnson's biggest mistake?
The inability to work with Springfield and City Council to get things done, and the revolving door of high-level administration officials that have continued to leave at inopportune times.
What is Chicago's greatest strength?
It's people.
What's Chicago's greatest weakness?
Right now, a narrative that Chicago is not working for far too many working families.
Giannoulis said Chicago should fight to keep the bears in the city and says yes to ShotSpotter gunshot detection technology. Well, it's official. Chicago businessman Willie Wilson has declared his candidacy in the race for mayor. Perry Williams has that story.
Willie Wilson says he's running again because he doesn't like the condition of the city.
High taxes, crime, education, people sold out to special interest group, and the wider community continues to suffer.
Wilson added that Mayor Brandon Johnson is more loyal to the Chicago Teachers Union than he is to the average resident. He also said the mayor's rapid loss of key cabinet members is a red flag. I'm Perry Williams.
The 78-year-old millionaire businessman has run for mayor of the city 3 other times. The last time in 2023, his campaign focused on fighting crime, cutting taxes, and easing certain policies and restrictions on police. Mayor Brandon Johnson has yet to announce his plans. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 9:35. Part of our community, our local businesses. Listen as we share a list of small businesses throughout our community that we can shop, dine, and support throughout the year. These businesses are the economic engine that drives our neighborhoods. Wintrust knows that. That's why they're Chicago's bank and why they're encouraging you to shop local. Keep listening for the Wintrust Community Business Spotlight campaign. With Wintrust, shopping small is a big deal.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
CTA is coming to WVON, Sundays 7 p.m., not the train. Call to action with your host, Randria. When life has you at a stop, he'll pick you up and help you find out where you're going and the best connections to get you there. Take the ride every Sunday at 7 p.m. with your host, Randria. The next stop might be yours.
This report is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Still sleeping on that old bed? Mattress Firm sleep experts can help you choose the perfect upgrade. They'll guide you every step, answering your questions. Shop today and save big during the best sale of the year. They'll make sleep easy.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Still outbound of Tuskegee Airmen Memorial there at the Cal-Sag Channel. We're seeing two lanes that are blocked due to an accident. And now on the Eisenhower, as you make your way inbound at Irving Park Road, you want to look out for a disabled vehicle. Luckily, it is off to the right shoulder. Taking a look at our weather, cloudy and mild. A little muggy as well. The National Weather Service says we're climbing toward a daytime high of around 79 like yesterday, 68 tonight. Temperatures steady in the low 70s so far. Still 73 at Midway, is 73 in South Shore, and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back on the Cleopatra Show. It's a thoughtful Thursday. The time is 9:39, and we're talking everything Nolan Wells. To the family, they have been under attack. And when under attack, you got to stand up and fight back. Harassed, employment disruption to his mother. I mean, even the audacity to try to attempt to pull her nursing certificate and her licensure. When does it stop? Her son is unalived as we speak. Her baby. Here I am in the studio. I can barely concentrate because my son has lost his tooth from the time I left the house to pulling up at the studio. And my sunshine will be 5 at the end of this month. His tooth, that little bitty tooth, got me distracted. And yet her son no longer walks this earth. God bless and keep them. This is very serious, especially when it comes to whose child life is worth more. The fact that Black lives are still being at a value of whether or not they matter. Because if we mattered, you wouldn't be harassing this family. If we mattered, you would do everything to demand justice for this family. And if we mattered, we wouldn't have to fight for equity equitable accounts of accountability for this family. Most importantly, for Nolan. Like I said, my son's tooth has me a little distracted. So imagine if you were to disrupt a hair on his head. There would be no place you can hide. But that's a black mother talking to the world. Now, I applaud Nolan's mother. And I pray for her strength every day. Because what they're enduring is just not right. But they're not alone. There's a long list of black families that have historically been victimized after their families have been brutalized and unalived. I'm trying to make it make sense. But here's the one thing that the scripture has always kept me content about, which is why there are certain people I don't indulge in conversation. The Bible says you can't rationalize with fools or babies. And you pick your poison. Now, my tolerance is for babies. I have 0 for fools. Our special guest writes for the Jackson Advocate newspaper. So we're getting the tea all the way in the heart of Mississippi. And when we pull up, we pull up. And we have friends on the TCS everywhere. And I appreciate this sister because she has been all over that beat like sprinkles. And I'm referring to our friend of the show, Angela Simpson Buckner, who is a phenomenal journalist who was there at the homegoing services and continued to engage us even there, detail by detail of what is going on with the Nolan Wells case. As it continues to take all of these twists and turns, I want to welcome her because she's also the founder of Mike Magazine. So she is continuing the coverage, and I appreciate her. How you feeling, Angela?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on the show. Feeling pretty good.
Your audio's a little choppy. I'm going to put you on hold because I want to make sure our listening audience can hear you and let our audio engineer adjust what he needs to. Listen, guys, as we continue to wait for Angela to get our audio together, I'm going to take a couple calls, 773-591-1690. Let's talk to Andre. Andre, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Yes, Cleopatra. Assalamu alaikum.
Wassalamualaikum salam.
Yeah, I'm Andre from Joliet. And see, what I don't understand, and I'm going to make this some sense. My grandmother is French. My grandfather is look a lot like the cameo guy. He's Haitian and Irish. So why is Mississippi not showing the girl that he was talking to?
I
grandmother was
just
French.
saw that. I decided not to play that clip, but I am trying to keep up with that too because there was a girl on that boat.
There you go. On my grandmother, that was French, and on Barack's white mother.
Mm.
So I'm saying that's the part. Like I call my mama, and I'm glad she got some age on her. Ain't looking like the woman in Friday no more. But yeah. Come on, Mississippi, make it make sense.
Well, and it depends. Here it is. One thing we know about privilege. These children didn't come from hard times. They just hopped a boat and skipped to an island, right? So now it begs the question, who's your parents? No different than the baby that was found unalived in the wrestling mat. My brother was a wrestler, my uncles, right? I know how heavy that wrestling mat is and how many people it takes to close it, let alone open it. But it depended on who were the parents, right? And they're trying to protect their children. So I'm more now. I mean, of course, it matters who was on the boat, but I'm also interested to know who they belong to. Good call and good question because we're going to continue to probe.
And on my Chinese son with his mother saying bilingual. Y'all make it make sense now.
All right. Is Angela audio together? Angela, welcome back.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You sound much better. There, I didn't want to miss a beat.
Okay, not a problem.
So talk to us about your reporting and these twists and turns because it is spiraling.
Okay, so I do understand that there were some new developments to the point where, they're talking about Nolan Wells' mom was hit with like a complaint. She is a nurse, nurses, what do you call it? She's a nurse practitioner. And which is like a step away from being a major doctor, right? And so someone anonymously reported her. But what I'm not understanding is why is the media's narrative so much so that they're saying like she is being questioned right now. Like the complaint has been closed out. So this is old news that they are trying to give a lot of weight to. This is old and it is closed out. She's not losing her job. She's already made a post about this prior to this coming out in mainstream media. Not understanding why mainstream media is willing to go to these lengths just to push or drive a particular narrative. Mississippi, I want to say this. We are better than this. I don't understand what is happening here, but we're going to call a spade a spade. And in a case with Nolan Wells, boots were already on the ground before Nancy Grace got there, before I even got there. We touched down after the bat signal went out, is what I call it. And I have to give credit to Calvin Barnett. He is out there and he's making certain to keep the people abreast on the coast. I live in the Mississippi Delta area, and I am so glad to have made that connection with them down there on the coast. My question now, Cleopatra, is did Nolan have an opportunity to call 911? Everybody's talking about this audio call, but did Nolan have an opportunity to dial 911? I've yet to hear anybody say that there's an audio call out there with Nolan saying, I need the Coast Guards out here to help me. I've not heard it yet. And we probably won't, because his mom said that his phone was in Ocean Springs, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you dropped a few things about some of the nuances of, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? So the smoke is open up an investigation on his mother, but her son is dead, right? So her profession has nothing to do with the fact that her son was murdered.
Nothing. And I think she's getting closer. See, now they have someone in custody who has allegedly threatened to bring harm to witnesses. How do you know who the witnesses are? How do you know Edward is his name, Edward somebody? How do you know who these witnesses are? That's my question. How would you have an idea of who the supposedly witnesses are? But yeah, I mean, his mom is not was not on the island. Let's be clear about that. And there's one victim here, that's Nolan. His blood cries out from a watery grave. He will never speak unless it's through forensics, okay? And with the neck, the throat, we need that. We need that. Mississippi has completed their autopsy. We're going to need, if we need to subpoena that, we need it. I was talking to a business owner yesterday morning. He said, all of that can be subpoenaed. It's only a matter of time. They're going to have to give his organs over. Mississippi, again, we are better than this. We are.
Listen, guys, we're talking to Angela Simpson Buckner. She writes for the Jackson Advocate newspaper and has been dedicated to unearthing the truth and justice for Nolan Wells in her journalism and reporting. More when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your outfits, grab your crew, and get on board with the Me Plus 3 special starting at $1,000 per person. This time, join the Foundation Fantastic Voyage 2025 cruise will be fun, entertaining, and this will be a once-in-a-lifetime event with seminars, fitness workouts, parades, concerts, and much more starting at $1,000. Call 214-495-1963 to book your Me Plus 3 cabin. Prices are based on 4 passengers in the cabin, so book today while they last and before cabins are sold out.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. WVON, traffic and weather now.
Time to get an update on your travel times as you make your way along the Ryan from 95th Street into downtown. Expect about a 17-minute trip. Outbound things are just fine. Along Tuskegee Airmen Memorial on the outbound side, still dealing with that earlier accident right there at Cass-Sal Channel. Not affecting any travel times because traffic going out is pretty light. Inbound moving along at the posted speed. The Bishop Ford, and things are pretty quiet there in both directions. USABO Lakeshore Drive moving well. If you're on the Stevenson, expect a 45-minute trip from I-355 to DuSable Drive 40 traveling out. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes in from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, 45 on that return trip. And things are heavy in both directions along the Kennedy. You're looking at a 35-minute trip in from O'Hare to downtown. Getting to the airport, 35 as well. Taking a look at our weather, a pretty gloomy day in Chicago. The National Weather Service says we'll see overall cloudy skies throughout the day as temperatures climb near 79. We're still hovering in the low 70s this morning, cloudy and 73 at O'Hare. It's cloudy and 73 in North Lawndale and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Fernoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. On the live line is Angela Simpson Buckner. She writes with the Jackson Advocate newspaper. And Angela, I want to read J-Rock Senior's statement to me. And Jay is a avid listener and an excellent student in our class here on the TCS on the Cleopatra Show. Jay says, "Sis, we don't know that he was murdered. Now his mom will never be at peace because of the thought put in her head that he was murdered. Crump participated in the carrying of the case, and the family hasn't even fully grieved, nor will they ever now. He could have, in fact, really drowned. But this is what happened when people assume. I think that it's crazy that we are impacted by the alleged death of a black man by white hands all the time, but never raise hell about black on black every day." Now, Jay, I did put out the disclaimer because I expected this from somebody. There's white on white crime, there's brown on brown crime, and there's black on black crime, because you're more inclined to commit crime within your own race juxtaposed to any other race. But uniquely for the Black American, we're always cut down by the other race being white Americans. So I want you to put that in perspective. Now, if it was as simple as a drowning, why handle it the way that it was handled? And you have to admit that this smells nefarious and something about it isn't right. And the bottom line is your child go away with a group of people and they come back unalived. Nobody had to tell her murder. That is her child, and he is no longer walking this earth. So the assumption is genuinely almost automatic in the event that there was no sympathy. She was not met with children that were friends to her son saying, "Oh my God, Mrs. Wells, Nolan drowned." That was not how she was greeted. She was greeted as though he went away with strangers and her child came home 2 days later in a body bag and evidence was disrupted and destroyed. These are the facts. So folks that had no guilt and your child is victimized would come with empathy. She has not been met with empathy, nor her husband. So it does feel nefarious, and nobody had to plant the seed of doubt. Their actions did enough to do it themselves. Would you agree with that sentiment, Angela? And if not, push back on anything I've said.
Well, and I know you said this came across from one of your supporters.
No, it's not a supporter. It's a listener in the chat here.
Oh, okay. One of the listeners. I want to be clear about something. I'm going to double down on what you're saying. Yes, we do know there's black on black crime, and I run a campaign against that as well, because as soon as someone white does something in the black community, we jump on it. We got black T-shirts. We got a bus. We got people who are rallying around so that we can bring awareness. But where is that black on black energy when it's us, when we have leadership and it's not called out, the things that are being done? But that's not what we're discussing right now. The thing is, I want to be clear about this. Christine nor Elmore Wansley ever accuse anybody of anything. They're not even calling anybody racist. They've not done anything of that magnitude. Their only question is what happened to our baby. That's their only question. And whether they will ever be met with open arms or things like that from the front of the room, from the governor or anybody else, it does not matter. The question still remains, what happened to Nolan Wells? And I've gone to the point, Cleopatra, where I'm saying, hey, let's rename that island Nolan Wells Island. Let's rename it. Let's rename it. It's time to start doing some different stuff. We now know that people have suited up and booted up, and now they are wanting people to be sued for defamation, which I believe is silly. There's no way you can tell me that you are going to represent my best interests and you're going to have me deposed. You're going to have discovery, and I am going to be under oath, and I am going to be telling everything where I was, at a specific date. Why would you even say you need to sue people for defamation? I would feel like you are working with Crump and not with my family. And I'm just being honest, because you are opening that family up and putting them under oath. And this will never go away. And I believe when you're being deposed, it's recorded, your face, your audio, everything. You think back to O.J. Simpson, but in the wake of all of this, what has happened to Nolan, Cleopatra, I have called for the island to be renamed Nolan Wells Island, and I've even called for Priscilla Williams Till, who's the cousin of Emmett Till, to go on and run for governor, be the first black woman governor in the state of Mississippi. History repeats itself. We've had a black lieutenant governor after Reconstruction right here in this great state of Mississippi, and we're going to do it again. This time, it's going to be for governor.
Well, hold tight, because I got to have you all over on that, because I was at the 85th commemoration here for Emmett Till's, what would have been his 85th birthday, and I'm enticed by that. I'm enticed, it's one thing to name the island Nolan Wells, but unless they gifted the island to the Wells family, I don't know if that has much meaning for me. because it doesn't have no value. I'm interested in. I know you want to probably push it for a sentiment always to be remembered if they gift the island to the family, right? Like, amen. Like I feel like at this point, from a monetary standpoint, what does it mean? Because that's all I see. I see the grifter keeps grifting. When we come back, Booker T and a few others are on the live line. We're hanging out with Angela Simpson Buckner. I gotta hold her because she just said a thing. Because when we look to Michigan, Benson is on her way. She mollywopped him. 84% approval. That's the secretary of their state who's on her way to the governorship. Are women on the tidal wave? And if so, can we make room for a teal? Amen to that. We'll be back.
Cloudy and mild on this Thursday, August 6, 2026. I'm in Illinois. Into the headlines. Chicago State University is just 3 weeks away from its first football season ever. The inaugural season for the Cougars is set for August 29th. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius is running for mayor of Chicago. He laid out his reasons why this morning in an hour-long WVON exclusive with Rufus Williams. And today marks an important anniversary. The 1965 Voting Rights Act was signed into law. National news from the Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 10:02.
First, here's BIN News Now.
I'm Mike Island with BIN News Now. An FBI report says active shooter accidents are increasing in the U.S. The FBI says that in 2025, there were 34 total active shooter incidents. The FBI says in 2025, there were 34 total active shooter incidents. Authorities say 2 suspects have been arrested in Peru in connection with the death of an American Airlines flight attendant based in Dallas, Texas. Investigators say Eric Molina disappeared during a layover in Colombia in March, and his body was found several days later. Authorities say the suspects are members of a Colombian gang that targets foreign visitors. A Tennessee death row inmate wants a federal court to allow a private religious confession before his scheduled execution. John Michael Bain and his spiritual advisor filed a lawsuit arguing state prison policies violate their religious rights. Now back to Terry McCready.
A Senate vote today on whether to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee vote comes after the former White House health advisor invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times in a hearing last week about the COVID-19 pandemic. Fauci refused to answer questions, saying he thinks committee chair and Republican Senator Rand Paul wants to see him behind bars and is obsessed with him. Paul is accusing Fauci of concealing COVID's origins and of unnecessarily closing schools. A federal judge officially allowing the Trump administration to end temporary deportation protection for hundreds of thousands of Haitians. Haitian advocate Jepsy Metella says Haitian TPS holders contribute billions in the economy and support tens of thousands of U.S. citizen children.
The fact that they've been able to educate their children, contribute to this economy, build their lives, invest in homes.
But this is the final step for now in a case that churned its way up to the Supreme Court. The ruling comes more than a month after the High Court reversed a ruling made earlier this year, pausing the government's plans to end temporary protected status for Haitians who fled the country during political unrest and natural disasters in recent years. The action clears confusion about the status for roughly 350,000 Haitians benefiting from the program. Following the Supreme Court's decision back in June, it was unclear when the protections would officially end. Black Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook says she didn't think it was necessary to raise interest rates last week, but she's ready to do so if inflation does not come down soon. She was in Alaska delivering a speech and said she considers the risks to the inflation side of the dual mandate higher than the risks to the employment side right now. Cook noted that the effects of tariffs on prices are mostly over, and while those levies account for higher inflation year over year, they may not necessarily prove prove inflationary down the road. She also said that while oil prices have surged due to the conflict in the Middle East, she pointed to forecasts that suggest oil prices will fall by the end of the year. South Africa is calling for continent-wide discussions to address the migration crisis. South African Minister of International Relations Ronald Lamola says the region is among the highest receiving countries on the continent. South Africa has faced scrutiny over protests and reported violent attacks against migrants, and Lamola says it is something authorities are taking seriously by cooperating with the African People's Human Rights Commission. The African Union rejected a proposition last week by Ghana to add South Africa's migration tensions to the October meeting agenda. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
Are you ready? Not just to do hair, but to build a real beauty business.
If you're a stylist, a barber, or a beauty professional, this show is for you.
I'm Nidra Williams of Solo Beauty Supply.
I'm Dr. Lekashan, trichologist and salon owner.
Breaking down real strategy, real growth, and what it takes to win in this industry.
Tap in, lean in, and level up.
The Hair Salon Tour Show, where beauty professionals become business powerhouse. Join us Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. WVON 1690.
This report is brought to you by Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco and catch the savings on seafood. Fresh Atlantic salmon fillets are $5.99 a pound. Limit 10 pounds. Plus, Waterfront Bistro 26 to 30 count easy peel raw shrimp is also $5.99 a pound. Limit 4 pounds.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Traffic nice and light, especially on the south end of the city. The inbound Ryan down to 17 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Outbound things are quiet. Things are moving well in both directions along the Bishop Ford. And as you make your way along Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you'll move along at the posted speed. And things are nice and light along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as well each way. Taking a look at our weather, pretty cloudy today. The National Weather Service says on the mild side, we're looking at temperatures climbing near 80. 79 is our official high. We're holding steady at 73 at Midway. It's 73 in North Lawndale and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Yeah.
And we are back. It's a Thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. At the time is 10:10, and we're talking all things Nolan Wells. Listen, guys, a black family is hurting and yet being victimized while their son was unalived. He's resting now. Homegoing services have transpired, and the alleged friends that went boating with him, were not even in attendance. That tells me a lot, right? And our black attorney general, Attorney Ben Crump, is all over that beat like sprinkles. And in support of him, his wingman is our colleague and friend. That's right, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Bad brothers. It's a dynamic team. But the state of Mississippi is not split. You know, we had some live reporting, and both black and white Mississippi showed up and turned out. And we are demanding Mississippi do better. And who's writing about the state of affairs of Mississippi is none other than Angela Simpson Buckner, who shared some time to hang out with us. She's writing with Jackson Advocate newspaper and has been covering this exclusively. So, Angela, you were saying not only should the island be named Nolan Wells, I done added to it. They might as well just gift the island to the family. don't just name nothing in memory of. You might as well give me that parcel. Boo.
That's it.
So we can turn that into a black metropolis. Maybe that'll be the getaway when black folk need to run away from Mississippi. I don't know. I am forward thinking. But you took it up a notch when you said the descendant of Emmett Till should go on to run for governor. Girl, you done shook the airway. Elaborate.
Well, Priscilla Williams Till did run for senator across the state, and I was a part of her team, and she got votes that we didn't even count. You know, she now has a base, a voting base across this state of Mississippi. People were paying attention to her race. And, you know, she's out there doing social justice things. She's an educator. She teaches. She's a teacher. Okay. And so she's touching lives every day on the average, where other people who are running, I can't speak for them, but what I've noticed about the Republican Party is this. They're fighting to see who's going to be governor amongst themselves, as if they have counted out the Democratic Party, the independents, and anybody else who could possibly have an opportunity to run and win. And so with that being said, Emmett Till's cousin, who makes it no secret, she stands in solidarity with Nolan Wells' family. We were there at the funeral, at the repast. Reverend Al Sharpton, we got a chance to see him, Attorney Ben Crump, all of them. And, you know, they're doing a smear campaign, or trying to, because it's not effective, against the legal team of Nolan Wells, when all they want are answers. You know, people are now saying, oh, Ben Crump, he's doing this, Listen. You got to understand, Crump is not able to take everybody's case. Everybody won't get the same attention as the Nolan Wells case is getting. And if that's what you're looking for, you're going to break your own heart, okay? When people hear Ben Crump is not able to be in Mississippi today. He's not able to be here every day. That's why he has people working in tandem with him to make certain that things are done effectively. He's even got somebody working now on the oceanic thing, because they're saying that where they found Nolan Wells' body, that is a spot that, honey, say the tides they're just violent. So there's no way that Nolan Wells' body can be found in the same exact location where he was allegedly at before they left. Okay?
So it all sounds nefarious on its face. And
that's what it seemingly it does.
Oh,
yes.
I mean, absolutely. But here's the deal. You know, I want to tap back in, and I got some callers, so I want to take some calls with you. Robert is joining us, and he says, Cleopatra, no one ever asked the question, who bought them alcohol? And how can you operate a boat under the influence of alcohol but they all lawyered up.
Judge Carlos Moore he addressed that on his platform. Judge Carlos Moore, he refers to it, and thank you so much, Robert. He refers to it as low-hanging fruit. He said, now, and I asked him, I said, I need you to explain on my platform, what do you mean? He said, somebody needs to be arrested for supplying alcohol. If there were drugs, who supplied the drugs? We need to know who had his phone. He said, this is low-hanging fruit. Whoever was in possession of the phone should have been arrested. But we're knowing now that they're not going to be arrested. So they're leaving it in the hands of the grand jury. Now, Cleopatra, I want to take it a step further, because when you went to break, you guys made an announcement saying something about football season. Well, here in Mississippi, they have run past that, run past Nolan Wells talking about sports. And we are running a campaign saying drop the football all fall. Nolan Wells will never be able to catch a football again. And so we're asking that college football players protest in a way of dropping the football. You don't have to not go to the school, but I want them to understand this. There was a royal fool in the palace of the king just for entertainment purposes. And I don't want our young men and women to think that they are sheer entertainment. You have to take a stand for something. You got some people saying, run the clock out. Don't do anything. Just run the time off the clock. But we're asking that you stand in solidarity with your football colleague, your football friend, and make certain that you let those in power know that we know that sports betting is now happening in the state of Mississippi, and that we're not going to allow you to bet on us. We're going to bet on Nolan. We're betting on Nolan Wells this year. He will never catch a football again, Cleopatra.
And that makes me sad, but it is the truth. I had Sonny Williams, and then I'm going to take Booker T's call. Sonny Williams said, unalive sounds like a far-left DNC term like POC, people of color. Now, Sonny, you know, I've contextualized this given the sensitivity. In fact, maybe you missed it, but one of your classmates up in the chat talked about unalive and its birth. It came because of the algorithm blocking the term dead, right? And for me, I accepted it because I thought it was a more creative way to talk about how things started and how it ended. So here you go politicizing what is an absolute fact about life and death. So take the politics out, bruh. Like at the end of the day, we have a young black man whose life was cut down. He will never grow to be an old man. And if you are a big old age man, I hope you will understand. Take the politics out. There's no far left, no term, no none of that. Bottom line, unalive came because the algorithm blocks the term dead on social media. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth. YouTube. So if you didn't know, again, now you know. But don't politicize this young boy's death, because he started out alive and he came back unalive. That's what it means. When we come back, Booker T, Angela and I would take your call. You're welcome to give us a call, 773-591-1690. MC Robinson says, Grand Rising Professor, and reporting on the Nolan Wells today. And you're absolutely welcome. We need to wrap our hands, especially because Mississippi is kissing cousins to the city of Chicago. Many of you all got strong roots to and through. I got to honor Mississippi too. Mississippi matters to us, and Mississippi is not alone, because black children, people, men, women are hunted every day while surviving, while being black in America. We'll be back.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
This August, renew your spirit only on Vaughn TV. Watch Behind Our Walls, a powerful documentary following incarcerated men pursuing a college education through the Calvin Prison Initiative. It's an inspiring story of determination, redemption, and the transformative power of second chances.
It's a lot of bad things that happen in prison. It's a dark place. You have all the time in the world. So you can either become a better human being or you become a worse human being. And the choice is yours.
Then spend time with Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and friends. Uplifting conversations about wellness, self-care, resilience, and living with intention. August on Vaughn TV offers stories that stay with you long after they're over. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your outfits, grab your crew, and get on board with the Me Plus 3 special starting at $1,000 per person. This time, join the Foundation Fantastic Voyage 2025 cruise will be fun, entertaining, and this will be a once-in-a-lifetime event with seminars, fitness workouts, parades, concerts, and much more starting at $1,000. Call 214-495-1963 to book your Me Plus 3 cabin. Prices are based on 4 passengers in the cabin, so book today while they last and before cabins are sold out.
This is your host and life coach, Linnell Harris, and I want you to join me every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Inspirational Perspective. On Inspirational Perspective, we talk life vision, life purpose, and the show is all about helping you live the best life possible. So join me as we look at supporting you in living the life you intend to live and making your life's vision a reality. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 a.m. WVON.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
The inbound Ryan just bumped up to a 21-minute trip, partly because of an accident right there inbound at 43rd Street. Apparently, there's a car that rammed into a wall. Taking a look at our weather, a gray day today and muggy. The National Weather Service has handed down a new daytime high of 78, our low still 68. It's still steady at 73 at O'Hare, 73 at Rainbow Beach, and 73 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Fernoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Come on, Robert. It's a thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. The time is 10:25. And listen, guys, I want you to join us today as WVON broadcasts live from the law offices of Theodore London, 1718 East 87th Street in Chicago. Maddie, live broadcast from noon to 3, followed by LaDonna Ray hosting afternoon from 3 to 6. Come for the conversation, stay for the music, fun, festivities, mini carnival atmosphere. Bring your family, bring your friends, and join the WVON team for an afternoon of community and celebration. Great music, big fun, real conversation. See you soon. Now, I might pull up and rock with Maddie Matt. I love me some Ted London. Ted doing it big. Ted got them big billboards down the expressway. I mean, he represents Chicago in a special way. I'm always giving some love to our Black Attorney General, but I'd be remiss not to talk about how we get down at home with Theodore London. So you want your estate planning, you want it done right, you better get it tight. You better pull up on Ted. So listen, 1718 East 87th Street. Your favorite millennial will stop by, hang out with my main man, Maddie Matt, see what he's talking about. And I can't wait to eat. I'm sure Ted is going to bless the community. Hallelujah. I already receive it. On the live line is Angela Simpson Buckner. She writes with the Jackson Advocate newspaper, and I promised we was going to take a call. Let's talk to Booker T. Talk to us. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning. Loving the show. Yeah, you're right. Attorney London is the truth. Real smooth brother, and he's an amazing attorney. I just wanted to comment on what's going on. And this young lady that's on with you, she sounds like one of your sorority sisters. She ain't playing. I think she a Delta woman because she really, man, she not playing at all. But let me get to my point. I'm glad I made you laugh.
I play Zeta Phi Beta for the record.
No, well, okay, you sound like a Delta. Okay, anyway. But look, here's my thought on this whole thing that's going on with this Nolan situation. What's apparent is that they know something. Like, wasn't his phone and his keys at somebody's house, and they lied and said it wasn't. That right there would see. Once we get, I can't get past that. Everything else, I could be like, well, I don't know what happened, but when you first lie, it creates speculation and doubt. If you hadn't lied about that and just been like, hey, this is what happened, blah, 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 you'd have been another way. But I know one thing you say, Ms. Cleopatra, you always say, if you don't hear me, you'll feel me. And I think that Attorney Crump is going to make them feel this situation. And my heart goes out to the family that's dealing with this situation. These white folks going to protect their children, but we can protect our children as well. And they know what happened to that boy. That's a fact. And it's going to come out, and it's going to shock the world. It's going to shock the world.
But here's what I will say to both of you all. The curse that they're putting upon their children to live a life on earth with such a heavy conscience, the individual, because I can't call her a woman, but the individual that proclaimed that boy, that young boy, Emmett Till, whistled at her, knew good and damn well she lied, but she lived with that lie all the way to the grave. And what a curse to live that way, and knowing what happened to him. So here it is, you will put those sins upon your own children. What Bible do you read? And this is why I beg the question, it makes me question who raised you, because at the end of the day, if you lie, you'll steal. And if you steal, you'll kill. So, it teaches me a lot culturally of what we're up against. And we're up against a real war, not only for the times, but for the times when once we are gone and we done passed the baton, and need you be reminded that we're historians in this moment, because I know that I am. And I know my sons will be listening to this long after, if not my children's children. And I want you to be mindful of the sins that you pass upon your children. Now, if it was an accident, it was an accident. Absolutely.
Can I say one more thing before I go?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's just simple. When you go to the doctor, the first thing they look at is your medical history. When you're accused of a crime or whatever, the first thing that's done is what is their history? Like, they got any priors, this, that, and the third. Well, these folks know there's a history with Mississippi. These folks know that. Is there any other race of people in this country that got the same history we got with white folks? We can heal or begin the healing process if we just start to be honest and just be like, you know what happened was messed up. That's a fact. But you know what? We're going to start trying to heal by first telling the truth. Those folks going to try to protect their boy. They know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened. And they're going to do everything in their power to protect those boys the same way if George Floyd hadn't did no cocaine, he wouldn't have got killed. Uh-oh.
Is it okay if I say something?
Absolutely. Good call, Booker.
Okay. Yeah, Booker, thank you so much for that. I just wanted to say Cleopatra legacy is so important. And what type of legacy is my question? What legacy would you leave for your children? What are you handing down to them? You mentioned about the woman lying on Emmett Till. Well, there's an outside attorney named Malik Z. Shabazz who represents the Mississippi Till family. And we found her. And we traced her down to Kentucky, and then we were able to find her here, maybe 5 minutes from where I live, her family where she used to live. And that family spoke out and say, hey, she doesn't live here. And we know exactly who you're looking for and things like that, honey. The Black Panthers were out there. Honey, I was out there covering that story, and we were able to get major attention just on that alone, because Attorney Malik Shabazz does not play the radio at all. And so we got to make certain that we keep everything in perspective when it comes to legacy. And we do know that people, and I have to put this disclaimer out there, you are innocent until proven guilty. We can continue to speculate, but until we get that autopsy finished by Dr. Mitchell in Washington, D.C., I want to, continue to drive the narrative that we want to know what happened to Nolan Wells right here in Mississippi. I am also working on another story. Honey, the plot thickens. I'm up here in the north end of Mississippi. Spencer Eckford has died in police custody. Malik Shabazz is an outside attorney, and he is following this case closely as well. So we need attorneys who are not afraid, you guys, to call a spade and walk the walk and talk that talk. And I want to say I commend these guys. Crump didn't have to take this case, but he did, and I'm glad that he did.
Well, one thing about it is journalists like us that are unafraid to continue to keep the fire and bring the hammer, and I got the wrench. Let me be clear. We're going to continue to be all over this beat like sprinkles with your support all the way from Mississippi. So I want to thank you for all that you do. And I look forward to having you back soon.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. I got to let Angela Simpson Buckner get back to work, because without her, I don't know what Jackson Advocate newspaper would do. We'll be back after this break.
Gray skies and muggy as temperatures climb near 80. Good morning. I'm Annette Furley, and here's what's happening. Chicago State University is just 3 weeks away from its first football season ever. Cougars head coach Bobby Roan says he has big plans to expand and grow this new team.
Guys, we're trying to take this thing nationwide, man. We don't want to just stay here on the south side. We want to take this thing as far as it'll go. We're big dreamers here.
CSU is a Division I program and will play in the football championship subdivision. They'll start their inaugural season against Roosevelt University on August 29th at Seat Greek Stadium in suburban Bridgeville. Well, Governor Pritzker wants big oil companies to return some of the profits gained during the Iran war back to consumers. Now, he sent a letter to top oil executives asking why Illinois families are paying such high gas prices while the companies report record profits due to President Trump's war. Pritzker wants to know if any of the companies are prepared to return a portion of their wartime windfall to consumers. The governor says since the beginning of the war, the price of regular gasoline in Illinois has risen by more than $1.30 a gallon. Well, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias is running for mayor of Chicago. In a WVON exclusive this morning, he tells Rufus Williams why.
People don't expect perfection. They don't expect their city hall to be perfect, but they do expect competence. They expect honesty. They expect someone who treats every tax dollar like it's their own and every resident's time as if it matters. And that's exactly what I did as Secretary of State. And that's exactly how I'll govern as mayor.
Hey, Sunya, I'm in.
Janulius is in a crowded field with a massive war chest of more than $22 million and has a name recognition that makes him an instant front runner.
Good question.
Rufus
Hang on.
did a rapid fire session.
Brandon Johnson's biggest mistake.
The inability to work with Springfield and City Council to get things done, and the revolving door of high-level administration.
I can definitely stay on till
at inopportune times.
What is Chicago's greatest strength?
about 9:10.
What's Chicago's greatest?
Because then I have a doctor appointment I have to rush off
right
to.
now,
Otherwise, I would normally could say longer.
Far too many working families.
Janulius says Chicago should fight to keep
that would,
bears in the city, and says yes to shots
9:10
fired
would be
on
would be
ship
10
technology.
would be
Well, it's
9:10 would
official.
be 11:10
Chicago
your
businessman
time.
Willie Wilson has declared his candidacy in the race for mayor.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
The 78-year-old millionaire businessman has run for mayor of the city 3 other times. The last time in 2023, his campaign focused on fighting crime, cutting taxes, and easing certain policies and restrictions on police. Mayor Brandon Johnson has yet to announce his plans. Well, the 97th Bud Billiken Parade is set and ready to kick off this weekend. Thousands are expected to line the streets of this historic parade, considered the largest of its kind in the country. The parade celebrates students as they prepare to begin a new school year. It begins Saturday morning at 39th and King Drive and ends at Washington Park for a massive family picnic. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 10:37.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-518-9301.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-518-9301. That's 800-518-9301.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey family, it's me again, Joan Colasso, Executive and Artistic Director of the amazing Timeless Gifts Performing Arts Program for youth and young adults. It's been a great summer, and now it's time for you to see the incredible talent we've been cultivating in 2026 as we present a Timeless Gifts Review, Sunday, August 9th at the Logan Center. Come and enjoy this amazing musical journey as we share some of our best experiences and productions over our 16 years, like Timeless, a musical review, Hit Me, Once a Hit, Always a Hit, and from our international tour in Milan, Italy, and much more. That's Sunday, August 9th at the Logan Center, 915 East 60th Street. For tickets and information, go to ticketfalcon.com/TG Summer 2026 and find us on social media at TimelessGifts_Chicago or call us at 312-808-0005.
It's the afternoon show.
Those people that are saying, I am not my ancestors, are speaking from a place of privilege only given to them by their ancestors. So how can you come here now, right, when they've shed all the blood, when they've been bitten by all the dogs, when they've been hosed down by all the hoses, when they've been slapped in the face by all the cops, and here you come after laws have been passed to say what you wouldn't allow? I am not my ancestors. I think that is insanely disrespectful.
Weekdays at 3 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
CTA is coming to WVON. Sundays, 7 p.m., not the train. Call to action with your host, Randria. When life has you at a stop, he'll pick you up and help you find out where you're going and the best connections to get you there. Take the ride every Sunday at 7 p.m. with your host, Randria. The next stop might be yours.
This report is brought to you by Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco and catch the savings on seafood. Fresh Atlantic salmon fillets are $5.99 a pound. Limit 10 pounds. Plus, Waterfront Bistro 26 to 30 count easy peel raw shrimp is also $5.99 a pound. Limit 4 pounds.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Inbound travel times along the Ryan have jumped way up to almost 30 minutes. That's mainly due to that earlier accident at 43rd Street. It's in the local lanes there. Apparently, a car ran into a wall there. Taking a look at our weather, it's a little muggy and cloudy. The National Weather Service says we're headed to an official daytime high of around 78. 68 is our low tonight. We've just seen a slight uptick in your temperature. We're up to 74 at Midway. It's 74 in Washington Park and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flurnoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Stop illegal alien from voting. Foreigners illegally registered to vote. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen.
They're stealing our elections? Stay with me for this episode of Jim Crow Reloaded to find out. Let's look at Utah. Utah spent a fortune auditing its voter roll, name by name.
The Department of Justice is suing Utah's Lieutenant Governor,
Investigating 2 million registered voters. Guess how many illegally registered voters they found?
Only one.
Only one.
And they did not vote.
They did not vote.
In 25 years, only 99 people have been convicted out of several billion ballots cast, far fewer than the number of people hit by lightning.
Now, the other thing it will stop is voting by illegal aliens. And I can tell you that's been going on, unfortunately, for a long time.
The Heritage Foundation, who gave you Project 2025, says that there are 6 million illegal alien voters in the United States. When we asked them to name just 6 people, not 6 million, they came up with exactly none. Heritage, Trump, Kobach, armed with lists of names with addresses, couldn't find anyone who actually illegally voted. So do these illegal alien voters actually exist? Nevertheless, 21 million people could lose their vote based on this delusional, insane, completely BS accusation. How? Under Donald Trump's proposed SAVE Act, you won't be able to vote unless you can prove you're an American citizen. So how do you prove you're an American? Nope. Your license doesn't count, and in most states, your real ID won't work. And no, even if you're in the military, your military ID doesn't mean a thing. And this man, Chris Kobach, actually stopped an Air Force officer from voting because she couldn't get her birth certificate in time. To prove you're an American, you'll need a passport or your original birth certificate. Do you know where your mom put your birth certificate? If you're anything like me, it was lost a long time ago. Did you know 21 million citizens don't have a passport or a birth certificate? Are they all illegal or criminal voters? Not quite, but they won't be able to vote. Statistically, poor folks, younger people, students, unhoused folks don't have original birth certificates. In Kansas, Trump's guy blocked 35,000 voters from registering, most of them students who didn't provide their citizenship papers. In court, the state admitted that every single one of these voters, every one is an American citizen.
A scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, which gives them access to the voting booth.
And now, Trump wants to use lists of deported people known as the safe files to hunt for voters who were deported but swam back to vote in our elections. Florida used that list in 2012 to purge their roll with suspected non-citizens. And guess what? They only found one illegal voter, a guy from Austria who voted Republican. Yet 179,000 voters had their registration canceled.
Along with thousands of others, Maureen was given 30 days to prove she's a U.S. citizen.
A bit like a criminal, like I did something wrong or something. I wasn't sure why I was getting the letter.
So they're lying to us, creating a hysteria over outsiders invading our democracy. But it's really them who are trying to take your freedoms away. The freedoms of our parents and grandparents who bled for these rights. They're holding our freedoms hostage with a ransom note that says, "Show me your papers." What you can do about it is what those who came before us.
And we are back. The time is 10:44. You heard a snippet of our friend, the investigative journalist Greg Palast, who has created Jim Crow Reloaded. It's a 6-part video PSA, a public service announcement series. And this project exposes modern voter suppression and manipulation tactics while teaching voters how to protect their ballots and ensure their votes are counted. Who's on the live line via our StreamYard is my friend Greg Palast. How are you, Greg?
Hey, Cleopatra, glad to be with you. And that voice is the voice of Chicagoan Ed Ward, who is a voting rights activist. He works at the Transformative Justice Coalition and also with the Palast, and he's worked with Rainbow Push out on the South Side, and he's working with the Palast Investigative Fund, and we're putting out this series with Transformative Justice Coalition, Push, NAACP, and other voting rights organizations to warn people. Cleopatra, Ed is doing a great job. Listen to him. He's very engaging. He's smarter and more articulate than me, so I put him on camera instead of me. I'll admit he's better looking. Shoot me. I'm getting old. But he is telling you we're going to give you 6 ways that they're going to try to steal your vote, including this attempt to require you to have proof of citizenship. And like Ed was explaining, well, nothing wrong with proving you're a citizen. There's a big problem in proving you're a citizen if they require people. They can't use your driver's license, so you got to have a birth certificate. Good luck. And that's original, no copy, sir. And the other is a passport, and only about 1 in 3 Black people have passports in America. But only about half of all Americans in general have passports. Only, if you're not going to skiing in the Alps, what do you need a passport for? So, but you can't prove you're a citizen. So this is they know what they're doing. They're going after young people, poor people, voters of color, to say you can't vote, and they're really hitting the military hard, which is. For Trump's all his stuff about, I love the veterans, the military. That's a tough group because they have a tough time getting their original birth certificates, and the military ID doesn't count because we do have some people who are trying to become American citizens but haven't gotten there yet. They're in the military. So that's an excuse not to let military officers vote. And remember, the military is actually quite opposed to Donald Trump, just so you know. If you deal with a lot of people in the military, you can tell they're not happy with this guy, and especially the soldiers of color. He's fired all
Let's
of
get
these.
to it.
Yeah.
Because today is the 61st anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and your timing is impeccable. And everything you're saying is real. And the bottom line is, this is also a war on poor people. And I
Yeah.
say that because working families have been under attack under this regime, particularly with the big atrocious bill. And when you look at what passed for validity of American citizenship, it is a passport, and many Black families, people of color, the vast majority do not have a passport, right? There are more Caucasian Americans that have passports juxtaposed to any other Americans in the country, and that is a fact, particularly because Black Americans represent 13.5% of the population. That eviscerates us in terms of being the voting bloc needed to be the curve, if you will.
Yeah.
And those are the statistical facts.
Yeah, and they are the hard facts because look, they know what they're doing. They're not trying to stop non-citizens from voting. We don't have non-citizens from voting. The Heritage Foundation, I contacted them. They said there were 6 million. These are people did Agenda 2025. They're running this administration. What do you think? Trump's running it? No, they're running it. And they represent the billionaire class. And you're right. It's an attack on it's an income attack because I always used to I've always said that vote suppression is class war by other means. Now in America, when you get into class war, you get into racial war because we have such a disparity in incomes between, different races. And so Black people are getting the short end of the stick, but they don't have the passports. They don't know where their birth certificates are. A lot of people have moved. A lot of people are born at home who are poor, so they know exactly what they're doing. They're not looking for non-citizens. They're looking for Black citizens. They're looking for young voters who don't have, they're not traveling to on their summer vacations. They're working, and they know what they're doing. And this is just one of 6 videos that we have. So go to saveyourvote.org, saveyourvote.org. You'll see Ed Ward presenting 2 of our stories. One is about this need for you to get citizenship papers. And by the way, I'm warning you for another reason. Go get your birth certificate. Go get a passport. I'm sorry, it's a lot of work. It costs, it's time. But you know what? People have given more than hassle to get this right to vote. There's blood on the floor. Are you just going to walk over it and ignore it? This is your moment. You can't mess around with this. And especially if you're listening in from Wisconsin or other places, these are swing states. Indiana was a swing state till they were the first state to impose ID laws. They didn't find a single person in 100 years, Cleopatra, who voted illegally using someone else's ID. But the ID law cut out a big chunk of the minority and low-income community who didn't have those official government. If you don't drive a car, who doesn't drive a car? So you could use a license in Indiana, but if you don't have a car, and guess who doesn't have a car? It ain't rich people. So that's what's going on.
When we come back, Greg, the bottom line is I played a clip yesterday where there was a Caucasian man that simply said, we don't want them governing how we live. This is what it boils down to. Power, the controlling of the society in which we live and how we live. It is clearly evident who wants to be the sole governing force or the enforcer thereof. And, the pushback is real. When we come back, the foci is on Michigan. And there was a dog whistle yesterday that is the same drum that has been beat. And I would like to get your take on this because all eyes is on the prize of Michigan, but exclusively Wayne County, Detroit. More when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Early detection saves lives. Ladies, if you're due for a mammogram, don't wait. Breast cancer is most treatable when it's found early. Chicago Medicine makes it easier to take charge of your health. Eligible patients can self-schedule their mammogram online or through MyChart in just minutes. Visit uchicagomedicine.org/memo to schedule your screening. That's uchicagomedicine.org/memo. Chicago Medicine at the forefront.
When it comes to celebrating our Chicagoland communities, Wintrust is here for it. We're proud to support small businesses in our own backyards, like Lori Bryden Living, a custom shopping experience at 4452 South Cottage Grove Avenue in Chicago. Central Sonar, accessible mental health and healing services at 2645 West 51st Street in Chicago. Princeton Technical Services, building and maintaining modern infrastructure at 940 West Adams Street, Suite 305 in Chicago.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
Grab your crew and get on board with the Me Plus 3 special starting at $1,000 per person. This time, join the Foundation Fantastic Voyage 2025 cruise will be fun, entertaining, and this will be a once-in-a-lifetime event with seminars, fitness workouts, parades, concerts, and much more starting at $1,000. Call 214-495-1963 to book your Me Plus 3 cabin. Prices are based on 4 passengers in the cabin, so book today while they last and before cabins are sold out.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to focus with Robert McKay. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and preparing our past, present, and future. Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
We're monitoring 2 trouble spots on the roadways right now on the inbound side of the Ryan. That earlier accident at 43rd Street still blocking the 2 right lanes after a car apparently rammed into a wall there. Traffic now backed up all the way to 59th Street. As you make your way on the outbound side of the Kennedy, there is an accident in the left lane right there at Chicago Avenue. Taking a look at our weather, cloudy and mild today. The National Weather Service says we're going to top out somewhere around 78 degrees. Tonight, 68. Still right around 74 at Midway. It's 74 in Washington Park and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:46, and he's here. Investigative journalist Greg Palast, and he's created Jim Crow Reloaded. Okay, I'm reloaded. And I appreciate your work, as always. And today's a special day. You're hanging out with us as we are in commemoration of 61 years of the Voting Rights Act. And as we were just expounding upon
or what's left of it. Yeah.
Oh, right. The new mechanism of an old mechanism of the way to count you out, right? To keep you excluded from participating in democracy. First, you were counting how many gumballs were in the dispenser to now, do you have a passport? Many folk have barely left Illinois, right? And the intentionality to be divisive with the socioeconomic divides in this country is cruel, while your president, Greg, continues to keep on grifting. The billions are coming in, these no bid contracts and everything else. Meanwhile, your soon to be acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, he's acting now, will protect not only the interests of Donald Trump, his sons, and his empire, his businesses, free of taxes and immunity for all. This is where we're at.
Yeah, get out of jail free card for Agent Orange there. I mean, who in the world has a thing that says you can't be audited? In other words, that's like saying, okay, if you walk into a bank, all the alarms are off and you can steal as much as you want. You can pull out a gun, but you're immune in advance. I mean, this has never happened in American history. This is not just a grift. This is, that's almost cute. This is high crime. This is beyond imagination. But he knows because of this, they can't win an election straight. I'm not partisan. I'm not telling you vote Republican, Democrat for, J.D. Vance or Mondani. That's not my job. My job, though, is to help you get your vote counted. And so that's why I'm telling everyone, go to saveyourvote.com. You can also go to gregpalast.com and get there, but saveyourvote.org, excuse me. Saveyourvote.org. We're not for profit. Saveyourvote.org. And there it's going to be, we start out with a couple, and then we're going to have at least 6 and maybe more, all the ways that they're trying to take away your vote. And what you can do about it, instead of just bitching, we can actually save our vote. And I'm very, very concerned. And by the way, people in Wisconsin, it's really important. If you're in Indiana, it's really important that you get a hold of this series. And if you're here in Chicago, these national attacks affect you in Chicago. It ain't just Chicago and Illinois rules anymore. It's coming out of the Washington hate machine. So you got to be aware. So, and then if you have relatives anywhere, especially like Georgia, Nevada, Michigan, please pass this on. In Michigan, 300,000 voters were purged from the voter rolls. You don't think it has an effect on the elections? This is big stuff. They don't want you to vote. I want you to vote. I want you to listen to Ed Ward. Your great Chicago voice is young Reverend, actually. I see the young Jesse Jackson in him in his new way. And if you don't, I just want you to meet this guy. But he's going to lay it out for you, tell you how how to protect your vote and what they're doing to you.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold Greg hostage. He has 10 minutes to spare with us. I have to get your take on Michigan.
I'll take 20 if you need it.
All right, there it is. Michigan is the power play, right?
Yeah.
It is the
Everything's
play
on the
of all
line,
plays.
baby.
and when we come back, we're going to talk about some moves, because while some of you all are reading the rules on the sidelines, they're moving the goalposts. But here's a secret, Greg. I'm that big black hope on the 50-yard line, and I'm going to talk it out with Coach Greg of what's going to be the play and how we can save America when it comes to Michigan. Michigan is all we got. We'll be back after this break.
Cloudy and mild on this Thursday, August 6, 2026. I'm Annette Flournoy, and in the headlines, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulis is running for mayor of Chicago. He laid out his reasons why this morning in an hour-long WVON exclusive with Rufus Williams. This weekend, all eyes on Bronzeville. The 97th annual Bud Billiken Parade kicks off on Saturday. Tens of thousands are expected to line King Drive for this historic annual back-to-school send-off. And today marks an important anniversary. The 1965 Voting Rights Act was signed into law 61 years ago. National news from the Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 11:01.
Mike Island with BIN News Now. An FBI report says active shooter accidents are increasing in the U.S. The FBI says that in 2025, there were 34 total active shooter incidents. The FBI says in 2025, there were 34 total active shooter incidents. Authorities say 2 suspects have been arrested in Peru in connection with the death of an American Airlines flight attendant based in Dallas, Texas. Investigators say Eric Molina disappeared during a layover in Colombia in March, and his body was found several days later. Authorities say the suspects are members of a Colombian gang that targets foreign visitors. A Tennessee death row inmate wants a federal court to allow a private religious confession before his scheduled execution. John Michael Bain and his spiritual advisor filed a lawsuit arguing state prison policies violate their religious rights. Now back to Terry McCready.
A Senate vote today on whether to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee vote comes after the former White House health advisor invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times in a hearing last week about the COVID-19 pandemic. Fauci refused to answer questions, saying he thinks committee chair and Republican Senator Rand Paul wants to see him behind bars and is obsessed with him. Paul is accusing Fauci of concealing COVID's origins and of unnecessarily closing schools. A federal judge officially allowing the Trump administration to end temporary deportation protection for hundreds of thousands of Haitians. Haitian advocate Jepsy Metella says Haitian TPS holders contribute billions in the economy and support tens of thousands of U.S. citizen children.
The fact that they've been able to educate their children, contribute to this economy, build their lives, invest in homes.
But this is the final step for now in a case that churned its way up to the Supreme Court. The ruling comes more than a month after the High Court reversed a ruling made earlier this year, pausing the government's plans to end temporary protected status for Haitians who fled the country during political unrest and natural disasters in recent years. The action clears confusion about the status for roughly 350,000 Haitians benefiting from the program. Following the Supreme Court's decision back in June, it was unclear when the protections would officially end. Black Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook says she didn't think it was necessary to raise interest rates last week, but she's ready to do so if inflation does not come down soon. She was in Alaska delivering a speech and said she considers the risks to the inflation side of the dual mandate higher than the risks to the employment side right now. Cook noted that the effects of tariffs on prices are mostly over, and while those levies account for higher inflation year over year, they may not necessarily prove prove inflationary down the road. She also said that while oil prices have surged due to the conflict in the Middle East, she pointed to forecasts that suggest oil prices will fall by the end of the year. South Africa is calling for continent-wide discussions to address the migration crisis. South African Minister of International Relations Ronald Lamola says the region is among the highest receiving countries on the continent. South Africa has faced scrutiny over protests and reported violent attacks against migrants, and Lamola says it is something authorities are taking seriously by cooperating with the African People's Human Rights Commission. The African Union rejected a proposition last week by Ghana to add South Africa's migration tensions to the October meeting agenda. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
Are you ready? Not just to do hair, but to build a real beauty business. If you're a stylist, a barber, or a beauty professional, this show is for you. I'm Nidra Williams of Solo Beauty Supply. I'm Dr. Lekashan, trichologist and salon owner. Breaking down real strategy, real growth, and what it takes to win in this industry. Tap in, lean in, and level up. The Hair Salon Tour Show, where beauty professionals become business powerhouse. Join us Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. WVON 1690.
This report is brought to you by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Most people say, great God will come from the sky.
And we are back. The time is 11:09. It's a thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show, and I'm hanging out with Greg Palast, investigative journalist that has brought us time and time again a warning. And this time is through the lens of Jim Crow Reloaded. Now, before we went to break, we've been talking about the Voting Rights Act is 61 years old today.
Yeah.
It was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965, and this act is considered one of the most effective pieces of civil rights legislation in the United States history. And it was aimed to dismantle the barriers that prevented Black Americans from exercising their right to vote. However, the erosion, the gutting, the carve-out has been in the past decade via the Trump regime and with the support of SCOTUS. And that is unbelievable to say, but yet we're here. Now, Greg Palast is a
Yeah.
filmmaker, journalist, and author of several New York Times best-selling, including The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. And you can stream his Vigilantes Inc., and we've talked about that. America's New Voter Suppression Hitman at gregpalast.com. And that one is produced by Martin Sheen and narrated by Rosario Dawson. So you had some hitters in there. So before we went to break, Greg,
Yeah.
you know, the foci is Michigan. And in fact,
Mhm.
across every major network in on cable news is talking about the 1 point victor,
Mhm.
Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who's
Mhm.
marching onward to the general.
Mhm.
And I am talking about the dog whistle from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and the foci of Wayne County, and the dogs that were unleashed in some of the cities across Michigan that were quietly there that have been unnamed sources under the watchful eye of Secretary of State Benson, who kicked ass and took names, to be very precise, and is on her way to the governorship. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, what do you say about Michigan?
Well, it's a very important story for us. Number one, even though she's a Democrat, I'm very concerned about the way the Secretary of State has handled the voter rolls. They've gone along with the big purge. So again, to see Jim Crow Reloaded, just go to saveyourvote.org and get an Ed Ward of Chicago is going to explain to you this big purge like they did in Michigan. 300,000 voters were removed. I complained about it, even though it's a Democratic Party. And by the way, most of the people removed were Black Democrats. Now, why would the Democratic Party do that? It's called fear of a Black party. They do not want African Americans to take over the Democratic Party. And so I'm very concerned. You might live in Michigan. You better check your registration. You better go to saveyourvote.org and learn about the big purge from Ed Ward. And this really affects Michigan. Now, there's another story that no one seems to be talking about in the media, which is, and this has to be worked out. And I'm not in the center of this discussion. I'm bringing it up. You had a big split between the Black community in Detroit and the Arabic community in other cities where there's a huge Arabic community, the largest in the United States. Black people, for the most part, supported Dr. Sayed's opponent, Stevens, and most Arabic people, of course, not unexpectedly, supported Dr. Sayed. But you have this really, I'm very concerned about this kind of under the radar split between the Black and Arabic voters. And a lot of this, I hate to say it, I consider myself a democratic socialist. That is small d, small s. I'm not part of any organization. But I'm very concerned that some of my fellow white progressives are creating a split between the Black community and the Muslim community, the Arabic community. And one of the white organizers said, well, you know, the old Black leadership has been in the way of the white progressive movement. And that is real bad stuff. Let's not start going the MAGA route. Let's not start creating racial and religious differences within the progressive community. Come on, we can do better than that. So I'm very concerned about this split between the African-American community, especially in Detroit. And that was the difference in that vote. That's why it was so close, because of the Black community saying, no, we're not letting these kids from New York tell us who should be our senator. Now it's a question of who should be in control of the Senate. Let's forget all our little differences now, guys.
Well,
It's about the control of the U.S. Senate.
Let me dial it back, though, because I can distinctly remember reporting on a number of Arabic men that willingly and healthily referred to Kamala Harris as all kind of bees and horrible names, horrible opinions.
Yeah,
So I think the wound, besides the politics, the wounds are very deep in terms of just the suffrage. And then as soon as your president took office, they were apologetic as soon as somebody come help me, right? Now, with the war in Gaza and the genocide, because it is just that, there are some of us, now I don't live in Michigan, but there are some black folk that are crystal clear on that, but there are some wounds there that it doesn't matter how you line up. I was watching some of the reporting from black men in Michigan that did not feel confident that El Sayed could be the victor. And they just wanted a safe bet. I remember that happening here when for our senatorial race between Raja Krishnamurthy, Congresswoman Robin Kelly, and then Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and how folks potentially liked Congresswoman Kelly, but she didn't have any money, right? And then you look at Juliana Stratton, who did have money, but backed by the governor, so they felt like she carried some weight. But then Raja Krishnamurthy, he had money and couldn't get a vote, couldn't buy a vote. So the rationale, but beyond the rationale politically, I just want to remind us that the videos that came out of Michigan of Arabic men and how they felt about Kamala Harris was heart-wrenching. And I don't know how you come back from that.
Well, it's a lot of education and gathering to do. We can't have DSA with my good white friends and Arabic leaders, and then you have the black community as feeling very much excluded, and that's a very dangerous business. We don't, this is, the MAGA groups are all about race and resentment, and we don't want to, on the progressive side, we don't want to start imitating that stuff, and so there's some education to do. You got a lot of immigrants who they're new in town, and the Detroit African American community has been in control of their city. They're fighting for control. I got to tell you, if you look at my film, The Best Democracy Money Can Buy, in 2016. There were 75,000 votes, which were disqualified in Michigan because the machine readers had trouble couldn't read the ballots, or they broke down. So there's 75,000 votes that never got counted in Detroit. Trump won that state by supposedly 10,000 votes. Now you tell me, 75,000 votes, and they say, oh, we don't know who these people voted for in Detroit. Really? You don't know who they voted for in Detroit? We know who won Michigan. So unless you fight this vote suppression game, no one's winning. And if you're going to spend your time between an African-American versus Arabic fight, what for? That's what they want you to do. They want you to fight in the street over that dirty old bone. Go for the gold. Go for control. Go for power. And that's what it's about. Don't start imitating these racial divisions. It's really dangerous stuff. And I think if we can nip it in the bud now, call it out, and put an end to it, that'd be really good. That requires a lot of discussion, education.
Because when we come back, I've saw Dr. El Sayed distinguish himself. He's not a socialist, but he is progressive, right? And then, of that political line, what does that mean? Because as we both know, the Democratic Party struggles with communicating a message, let alone messages.
No.
So that's no fact. That's not a fact that we didn't know. But with that, them grappling with the positioning of where they're at with this war in Gaza, this war in Iran, war period. Particularly as the devastation has yet to even rear its totality and the impact for rural America throughout Michigan and everywhere else. And affordability has literally been on every ballot in America. When we come back, guys, I'm talking with Greg Palast, and we're looking at Michigan, and he's saying set aside the racial undertones. I'm saying set aside the political ones too, because there was some real hard punches in that last race for president that has left the black community split with the Arab community, And the call for unification is on the table, but here's the real deal. Michigan is the deal breaker to put a muzzle on this dog that has been running mad. There's a mad dog running across America, and if you don't muzzle it, I don't know what will become of our democracy. And I doubt Greg does too. Michigan is totally in play. More when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. You'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
When it comes to celebrating our Chicagoland communities, Wintrust is here for it. We are proud to support small businesses in our own backyards, like Pies of London, authentic English savory meat pies made with the best ingredients, located at 1071 Rolling Road in Elk Grove Village. Pop-in Plates, kitchen rentals, catering, and classes at 64 Lester Road in Park Forest. And Fusion Beauty Academy, professional training for cosmetology and more, located at 18 Ohio Street in Joliet.
Outfits, grab your crew, and get on board with the Me Plus 3 special starting at $1,000 per person. This time, join the Foundation Fantastic Voyage 2025 cruise will be fun, entertaining, and this will be a once-in-a-lifetime event with seminars, fitness workouts, parades, concerts, and much more starting at $1,000. Call 214-495-1963 to book your Me Plus 3 cabin. Prices are based on 4 passengers in the cabin, so book today while they last and before cabins are sold out.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top and Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance. And they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top and Top Insurance Agency.
WVON traffic and weather now.
More issues on the inbound side of the Ryan, this time at Pershing Road. Crews are out right now removing spray paint as they continue doing that maintenance there. They're blocking the 2 right lanes, making your inbound trip from 95th Street to downtown 29 minutes. Taking a look at our weather, gray and muggy today. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a daytime high of around 78. Temperature still steady, pretty much in the mid-70s. It's 74 at Midway, 74 in Oak Lawn, and 74 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm NF Renoi on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 11:25. It's the Thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. And who's still hanging out with me is Greg Palast. And I want you all to check him out. Investigative journalist, but we know his work. You know, you've seen Vigilantes, Inc. You probably read The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. And now he has Jim Crow Reloaded. And we've been talking about the Voter Rights Act. It is 61 years old today, but it's been gutted in its current form by this regime constantly chipping off the bid. And now the newest opportunity is to demand that you have a passport. Breaking news, Greg, is that Dr. Fauci is definitely potentially going to be held in contempt. And this is it, you know, like we have but I still can't figure out who was at Epstein Rape Island and all the most powerful men in the world that have a yearning to exploit, abuse, and rape children.
It's yeah. So they're trying to distract us with Fauci. All he did was try to give us a vaccine. You know, I hate to say it. My Bobby Kennedy was my co-author for many years. He's in my films. And then I'm not kidding you, his wife committed suicide, a great tragedy. Then a worm in his brain, suddenly started going crazy. Well, I was worried about my friend, and I normally don't bring up my friend's mental health, but he's right now, this is really destructive stuff. And you're going to arrest a guy who like, in fact, Donald Trump was so proud of Operation Warp Speed. Well, that was Fauci's out. So he's proud of it, but then because he lost, they came up with the vaccine, approved it a week after the election. Suddenly it's Fauci's fault. He's trying to blame Fauci for his loss in the election. But buddy, you're telling people to drink bleach? 1 million Americans died. Let me repeat that. 1 million Americans, by the way, disproportionately people of color. 1 million Americans. And so who should be arrested? The guy who tried to save them, or the guy who just ignored it and tried to kill them and told them, well, just drink bleach? It's like Marie Antoinette saying, just let them eat cake. Well, let them drink bleach. This is tragic. And so I do want you to go. So the only way we solve this is through elections. We do have at least an imitation of democracy left. Please go to gregpalast.com or go to saveyourvote.org. Saveyourvote.org. Get the skinny from Ed Ward and find out how you can save your vote and spread it around. That's the only way we do it. You know, in the Voting Rights Act, Martin Luther King, when he walked across the Pettus Bridge in Selma, when they started out, there was no chance. No one ever thought that there'd be a Voting Rights Act passed. Klansmen killed 4 people on that march. People were beaten, tortured, arrested. By the time they got to the Capitol, Montgomery, 50 miles away, the President of the United States introduced the Voting Rights Act, signed it, and handed the pen to Martin Luther King. But then the Supreme Court snapped the pen in half. They took away Section 5. I won't go into all the details. They just took away Section 2, and they're going to take away the whole darn thing. So don't expect the government and Kash Patel and this administration to save your vote. You save your vote. Saveyourvote.org. It's your job. You're not going to get it out of Washington. It's your job. So get there. Talk to me and Ed.
I definitely appreciate that. So, you know, I love to do some predictions with you. I love the way you think. Before I let you go, who wins Michigan?
I'm not the great Karnak. I'm terrible at guessing.
Tell us your tea leaves, Greg. Like, who wins?
I don't know. I'm just very concerned that everyone gets to vote. And if you're in Michigan, check your vote. And by the way, you can register in Michigan on Election Day. So it's and if we can heal this this Arab American, African American split that's brewing. Let's talk about it. Let's get it fixed, and then decide what's really important in our lives. And it's not beating each other up along a racial divide. And that's of all the racial divides. But right now, this is important for Michigan.
Well, one thing about it, I appreciate you stopping by and let me know
Thank you.
next time you're back in Chicago, have you in studio. I
Love it.
look forward to this Jim Crow Reloaded, transforming not only the political landscape, but just the awareness as we march towards November. So thank you for all the work you do.
You're very welcome. Okay. Thank you, Cleopatra. See you.
All right, guys, when we come back, I see the phone lines. I definitely let 773-591-1690. I have been paying attention to the chat. When we come back, we're going to talk about it. You don't want to miss it.
Gray and muggy. Temperatures climbing through the 70s today. Good morning. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. Governor Pritzker wants big oil companies to return some of their profits gained during the Iran war back to consumers. He sent a letter to top oil executives asking why Illinois families are paying such high gas prices while the companies report record profits due to President Trump's war. Pritzker wants to know if any of the companies are prepared to return any portion of their wartime windfall to consumers in Illinois. The governor says since the beginning of the war, the price of regular gasoline in Illinois has risen by more than $1.30 a gallon. Well, Chicago State University is just 3 weeks away from its first football season ever. Cougars head coach Bobby Roan says he has big plans to expand and grow this new team.
Guys, we're trying to take this thing nationwide, man. We don't want to just stay here on the south side. We want to take this thing as far as it'll go. We're big dreamers here.
CSU is a Division I program and will play in the football championship subdivision. They'll start their inaugural season against Roosevelt University on August 29th at Seat Greek Stadium in suburban Bridgeville. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias is running for mayor of Chicago. In a WVON exclusive this morning, he tells Rufus Williams why.
People don't expect perfection. They don't expect their city hall to be perfect, but they do expect competence. They expect honesty. They expect someone who treats every tax dollar like it's their own and every resident's time as if it matters. And that's exactly what I did as Secretary of State. And that's exactly how I'll govern as mayor if I'm fortunate enough to get elected.
Giannoulias is in a crowded field with a massive war chest of $22 million and has a name recognition that makes him an instant presumed frontrunner. Rufus did a rapid fire session.
Brandon Johnson's biggest mistake.
The inability to work with Springfield and City Council to get things done, and the revolving door of high-level administration officials that have continued to leave at inopportune times.
What is Chicago's greatest strength?
It's people.
What's Chicago's greatest weakness?
Right now, a narrative that Chicago is not working for far too many working families.
Giannoulias says Chicago should fight to keep the bears in the city, and yes to ShotSpotter gunshot detection technology. Well, the 97th Bud Billiken Parade is set and ready to kick off this weekend. Tens of thousands are expected to line the streets of this historic parade, considered the largest of its kind in the country. The parade celebrates students as they prepare to begin a new school year. It begins Saturday morning at 39th and King Drive and ends at Washington Park for a massive family picnic. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 11:33.
Chicago, get ready for a night of pure magic. On Saturday, August 29th, the Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined Tribute lights up the historic Congress Theater. One unforgettable night celebrating the songs that defined a generation. Imagine Survivor, Say My Name, Independent Woman, Reimagined. A 5-piece string ensemble delivers a stunning symphonic interpretation of the hits and love songs you know by heart, blending contemporary sounds with the group's signature harmonies and those empowering lyrics that still move us today. And guiding you through it all, narrator Matthew Knowles, the management powerhouse who built Destiny's Child from Houston dream to global phenomenon. Want the ultimate experience? Upgrade to VIP for premium seating and an exclusive meet and greet. But hurry, VIP packages are limited. From the moment the doors open, you'll feel it. It isn't just a concert, it's a celebration. The Destiny's Child Iconic Reimagined Tribute, August 29th, Congress Theater. Tickets at destinyschild.com. Get yours before they're gone.
Have you checked out WVON's digital streaming network, Bond TV? It's everywhere on Roku, Apple TV Plus, Amazon Fire, on the WVON app, and at VON.TV. Bond TV, it's cultural content on purpose.
Hello, Chicagoland. This is your main man, Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman. I'm inviting all of my friends, associates, and colleagues to tune in to WVON, The Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM for the Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman Show. This show will cover all the hottest topics, including politics, reducing gun violence, and so much more, right here every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on The Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Thank you.
This report is brought to you by Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco and catch the savings on seafood. Fresh Atlantic salmon fillets are $5.99 a pound. Limit 10 pounds. Plus, Waterfront Bistro 26 to 30 count easy peel raw shrimp is also $5.99 a pound. Limit 4 pounds.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're seeing pockets of traffic along DuSable Lakeshore Drive as you make your way northbound from 67th Street to Jackson. We are looking at about a 16-minute trip. Things look heaviest right around Soldier Field as you make your way to Jackson. If you're traveling southbound from Hollywood to Monroe, you'll slow down right around the Oak Street curve, then again right around Grand. Taking a look at our weather, just a great day in Chicago. The National Weather Service says mild and breezy. We're headed toward a daytime high of around 78. 68 is our low. Temperatures have just kind of been stuck in place. We're still holding on to 74 degrees at Midway. It's 74 in Oak Lawn and 74 here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flurnoy on the Talk of Chicago. 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's the soul of the man. Music, baby, music makes a happy day. Like music makes a cloud so high, baby. Your music is my tears inside my eyes. Just like your music makes me want to sing. Baby, girl, music is a joy to breathe. Just like music is my precious thing over.
And we are back. The time is 11:38, and it's a thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. I want to thank my friend Greg Palast for stopping by and keeping us abreast with his new film, Jim Crow Reloaded. It's a 6-part series public service announcement, and he's an investigative reporter, award-winning journalist. You ought to check it out. Now, this Thursday, Vaughn TV invites you to feed your mind, renew your spirit, challenge your perspective. Watch Bound and Woven with Rufus Williams, Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and Friends, and 2 powerful documentaries, Wronged, The Maurice Carter Story, and Behind Our Walls, exploring justice, resilience, and the power of second chances. Watch anytime on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture. You know, I want to check out the second chances. There's something brewing, and I'm going to wait until, we take the garbage out tomorrow. Might kick it back up Monday. because there's a group that is very anti folk that want, that deserve, that earn, that pay their debt to society a second chance. I find that group to be very peculiar, and that is a bone that I would like to pick. Now, this Friday, I want you all to join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from the Millennial Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Join WVON Metra live from the Millennial Station. Now, the phone lines are yours, 773-591-1690. You know, when it comes to spoilers, I was curious, what does a spoiler look like in a political race? If you could point that out, let me know. We're talking about Michigan. And Dr. Abdul El Sayed is the 1-point victor. So for those that are in doubt that your one vote does not matter, how many races do we need to see where that is just the absolute truth? He is on his way, but he needs to corral the Democratic Party to hold their nose and not to cut their nose to spite their faces, unless they want to deal with Mike, right? You want another Republican in? Right now, the Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court justices. This is their world that they've created. And El Sayed can be the shaker and the stirrer in this conversation to take the Senate back. What you gonna do, Michigan? Let's talk to Pam. Pam, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Cleopatra. How are you?
I'm in good spirits. I'm blessed.
Absolutely same here. I said that, overall I'm well, but, always facing challenges. Cleopatra, let me thank you for having Mr. Greg Palast. And for me, he is at least one of the most important voices on this issue of voter suppression and just making sure we verify our votes. I trust his information, not because he delivered it, but because at push, he did a presentation, and he was backed by Reverend Jackson and showing the information and the results of the investigation. All I would ask is for the Democratic the Democratic leaders and the party to sit down and meet with him. He already stated that he wasn't, partisan. But the information he has is about trying to make sure that everyone has access to voting. And as I've told you once before, Cleopatra, he got it right when he said he was concerned election night 2024 about Kamala Harris and the votes and the voter suppression. He says, but for 4 million people being purged and oppressed and suppressed, that Kamala Harris would be president. I tend to agree with that. So I'll ask you, Cleopatra, when we look at Michigan, many of the voters said they supported Stevens because she gave the illusion that Obama supported her because of some of
I
the
did see that
ads
photo.
she ran.
Yeah, she served as his chief of staff. But can I ask you this? I hate to interject.
Sure. That's okay.
When we gonna be done with the illusions? I mean the bag of goods. Obama didn't sell it to you. I mean, if that's the case, we'll fall for anything. You have to have listened to her. She even the Caucasian reporters were reporting that she ran a terrible race. She was a terrible candidate. Those are their words. I follow it.
I'm in total agreement. So here's my concern. If I haven't heard Obama come out with an official endorsement, it doesn't mean that. I don't care if you've worked with him. play basketball with him. I don't care. But at this present moment, Cleopatra, I'm concerned that the Republicans will viciously try to keep up the rift between Black Arabs and even Muslims and Arabs. And they will try to distort his record and distort his views. And I'm asking, I know people who live in Wayne County, and so in communicating with them, it's going to be about the ads and about the propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. And as Black people, Black men and women, we have to be on guard for that. See, it's not about just, no blue no matter who. It's about what are you hold Dr. Syed to account. What are you going to deliver for Black people? Ask him that directly.
I mean, but here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because, I asked, and I'm going to ask you before I let you go, what does the spoiler look like? But these people are idealists. Mike Rogers is the one with the resume. Mike Rogers is literally saying he can shake it up. How? How is he the threat, and you all have controlled the whole shenanigan? He's the one with the baggage. So I just, the master of spin, for what it's worth, I agree with Greg. We have to find a way to make peace. We do for the salvation and the protection of this country, because if it was left up to the majority, they will cannibalize themselves. How's it working for the Black women that are still sitting on the building watching everything burn? Is your ass hot too? Yes. Yes. 600,000 purged. You didn't see that coming, did you? That was the upper hook. That was the uppercut. Right? The left hook was for your man too. That's 400,000+. So sitting watching it burn, I know we're hurt, because Lord knows I am too. But yet and still, we got to survive this, and I'll be Mississippi goddamn if I'm going to let you take me with you. I can't do that. I cannot do that. So we cannot sit back and watch it all burn, because you're going to feel the heat too. So I'm going to ask you, Pam, what does a spoiler looks like in a political race? Just give me some of the sentiments of a spoiler.
Well, I guess for starters, you perhaps want to look at the ability to really win the race. What are the numbers looking like? And that's a small portion of it. But the other portion of it, what is the message of the spoiler? Who are they really reaching out to? Where is the funding coming from? I'm just trying to review and look at it all, Cleopatra. But to me, there are some people that enter the races, they have no intention of trying to win, can't win. And we have to also look at who's supporting the campaign, where the funds are coming from, but who is actually supporting the campaign.
Good call, Pam. Let's talk to Miss Eunice. Absolutely. Miss Eunice, welcome to WVON.
Thank you. And thank you for having Mr. Palast on. I've had the opportunity to meet him on numerous occasions, especially at Push, And I would like to say, watch this Macomb County, because they went out for Trump. And I never knew that they were so racist. I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit, and I was quite surprised to find out that so many of those MAGAs were there. And thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. When we come back, Mama D, Albert, I see you on the live line. And Renee is saying a spoiler is someone who runs not to win, but to keep someone else from winning, to help another person win who may not have been able to win a certain segment on his own. Thank you, Renee. Couldn't have said it no better. I have the most astute listening audience in the world. When we return, there'll be more.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Girl, where have you been?
My laundry got backed up. I had so much laundry I felt like the help, but I found the truth.
You became a Jehovah's Witness?
I found Clean Break. For less than the price of a good meal, Clean Break washed and folded my clothes and had them smelling fresh the way I like.
It's gotta be inexpensive. You know all the hookups.
Darn Skippy. I wasn't about to pay no $100 for 2 bags of clothes, and I caught the WVON discount.
Girl, sign me up. I'm sold.
Try Clean Break today for just $25 per bag, including pickup and delivery. Call 708-980-7886 or visit cleanbreak.com. That's KLEANBREAK.com. Clean Break, fresh clothes, more free time. Get your weekends back.
So fresh and so clean, break.
Hey family, it's me again, Joan Colasso, Executive and Artistic Director of the amazing Timeless Gifts Performing Arts Program for youth and young adults. It's been a great summer, and now it's time for you to see the incredible talent we've been cultivating in 2026. As we present a Timeless Gifts Review, Sunday, August 9th at the Logan Center. Come and enjoy this amazing musical journey as we share some of our best experiences and productions over our 16 years, like Timeless, a musical review, Hit Me, Once a Hit, Always a Hit, and from our international tour in Milan, Italy, and much more. That's Sunday, August 9th at the Logan Center, 915 East 60th Street. For tickets and information, go to ticketfalcon.com/TG Summer 2026 and find us on social media at TimelessGifts_Chicago or call us at 312-808-0005.
This Friday, join WVON's Rufus Williams and Metra as WVON broadcasts live from Millennium Station from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. We'll have special guests and WVON personalities on hand, bringing you the latest from Metra and the community. Metra is a safe, efficient, and clean way to travel throughout the Chicago region. And this year, Metra is celebrating 100 years of electrified transportation. That's this Friday, August 7th, from 7 to 9 a.m. Join WVON and Metra live from Millennium Station.
Your family's health and our community's health comes first. That's why Chicago Medicine brings you the Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m. No matter the health topic, you'll get clear facts, real and doable advice from Chicago Medicine doctors, experts, and community leaders. So you, your family, and community can make smarter choices and live healthier. Hear us at WVON.com or WVON at iHeartRadio. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of Chicago Medicine at the forefront.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We got a report of a new crash. This one on the inbound side of the Kennedy at Central. Right now, the left lane is blocked. And then as you make your way on the outbound side of the Kennedy, there's an accident at Lake involving a semi and a sedan. Taking a look at our weather, cloudy and mild today. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a daytime high of around 78. Temperatures are back on the move. We're up to 75 at O'Hare. It's 75 in Altgeld Gardens and 75 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. It's a thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. And I thought I would go to Miss Jackson. The time is 11:53. And I'm not just asking this of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. I'm saying, America, what have you done for me lately? And if you have to ask it when you go in the ballot box, if you have to ask it when you check what you pay your taxes to, you have to ask it when you look around your community and you're just trying to figure out, what have you done for me lately? Many of us are paying into these systems, taxes and otherwise, and it's rendering very little results, depending on where you live in your zip code. So what have you done for me lately? And Michigan is in play. like it has been in no other way. And I am saying, how can you have this kumbaya moment to either reject or protect what's in place? Either you're going to reject the Republican Party or you're going to protect it. It's just that simple. Now it's two people in the race. By protecting it, you vote for Mike. By rejecting it, you vote for Abdul. Let's see what folks got to say. 773-591-1690. Now, I asked the question, what does a spoiler look like in a political race? Brother Wall says the spoiler looks like Dr. Willie Wilson. Oh, shots fired. Pew, pew. I thought I was going to come in and talk some tea, but I might say that one. That's a wild card. I got something to say about that. I'm a little disappointed, but you know what? I appreciated what I experienced this morning. So remind me, put a pin in that. I do got something to say about Dr. Wilson. And it's very interesting, but it's also extremely affirming that we're doing something right on the TCS. Let's talk to Albert. Albert, talk to me. Welcome to WVON.
Yeah, I heard y'all talking about taking back the Congress and the Senate. Do you know the Democratic Party controlled the House of Representatives from 1955 to 1995? Every racist law that ever came against black people, abortion, everything that came against black people came out of that Congress.
You feel like abortion was against black people?
Well, if you was 85, when 1973, when Roe versus Wade became law, the white population in America was 86%. The black population was 10%. You had the Hispanic population was 3%. You had the other ethnic group of people. June the 24th of 2022, the overturn of Roe versus Wade, the white population had a 31% decline. Today it's down to about 54%. The black population went up 3.5%. The Hispanic population went up 19%. It's 22%. It's more Hispanics and Latinos in America than black people. 27 million black babies. 27 million black babies got killed.
So that was more of a yes or no. So your answer is yes. You feel like that abortion is racist against black people.
I don't say it. The number says it.
Well, as a man, you're talking about something that anatomically I'm asking you, how are you a part of? And I'm asking you, are you saying abortion is racist against black people?
No doubt about it.
So then the answer is yes. Is this a yes or no?
If you go back to the founder.
I'm not. Only thing I can look at in here is that you're a man telling me anatomically to a woman what a woman can do with her body, and you're putting it in the context of race.
I'm not telling you what you can do with your body.
Well, you said it's racist. So the fact that a woman failed to carry a wait, no. Wait, calm down. Calm down, Albert.
You got a right to kill my...
Calm down, Albert. I got a right to calm down my show. And I got a right to calm you down. So I want you to calm down. I asked a yes or no. I allowed you to elaborate on all the statistics that ping-ponged us from whence Roe v. Wade came to its conclusion. And in that conclusion, I still asked you yes or no. You said there's no doubt about it. And the one thing I said is that I hear a man telling me a woman anatomically what she can and can't do with her body, and you're saying it's racist. It is not health related. It's not any of those things. You put it at race because of the decline once that exists for the black population in America. So I just wanted folks to be able to hear you clearly because you're more excited than I am. That's all.
Since Wade became law, it wasn't about a woman's body. It was about population control.
I disagree with that. My goodness. I disagree with that vehemently.
You don't think, wait a minute, you don't think.
The only thing you need to think is that I'm a woman and reproductively I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Let me be clear. I cannot accept foolishness today. It is a thoughtful Thursday and I can't pull up to Ted London's office all flustered because I got a man calling to tell me anatomically what Roe v. Wade is about. When women were in the back alleys aborting babies with hangers, running for their lives due to incest, rape, and brutality. So I'm not going to just accept one side of the argument, because the vast majority of these issues are health related. The health of the well-being, you all are forcing these women to carry these babies that aren't well, both mentally, physically, or otherwise. I ain't even got to the race of the baby, let alone the sex of the baby. So don't play with me on Thursday. I don't have time for this. This is serious. You are seriously trying to blow this dog whistle that if more of them could have babies, we would have more Black people on this country. And in this country, under what conditions? What conditions are you bringing forth life? So no, I'm not having no man in my ear tell me the argument of the anatomical right of a woman in this country. And every woman should feel some type of way if they're free. Now I'm up at time. Mama D, you're going to have to hit me tomorrow. I apologize humbly. But listen, guys, I got to go pull up at Ted London's office because I need to unwind and have a good time and celebrate this brother that has done so much of a yeoman's job to protecting the interests of not only Black Chicago, but the entire state in Illinois. Last I checked, he go around the college counties. And Maddie Matt is up next, broadcasting live from noon to 3. And we're going to have some conversations, some music, some fun and festivities. I look forward to pulling up, but I will go all day toe-to-toe on Roe v. Wade. And clearly, as a mother of 3 under 4, I still believe in the right of a woman to choose, especially if that woman ain't feeling right, ain't well, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. No, you shouldn't be nobody's mother. And we got to think about that. So then give it up to the state. Oh, so the state can feed it into the system. Stop playing with me. Now, tomorrow is Funny Clip Fridays. Now, you want to call and play tomorrow, I might entertain you. If not, I'm going to go home and play with my children. That's the only group I want to play with because they like to play with me. When we come back, Maddie Matt is up next. I'll see you all tomorrow, 9 a.m., only on the Cleopatra Show.